Morning peeps, happy Saturday. I just want you to know this may be the only video that you get from me today because, yeah, I'm tired. I've been tussling all week with the facts and I'm exhausted today. But I had to come in and let y'all know that Donald Trump and Marco Rubio and Russell Voigt, the architect of Project 2025, yeah, they're still implementing Project 2025.
We are getting word about new information relative to State Department layoffs. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, this just in from my colleagues Abigail Williams and Andrea Mitchell. We know that there are some pink slips essentially rolling in to State Department employees in the thousands expected to depart the agency. 3,000, as many as 1,100 civil service employees and nearly 250 foreign service officers, according to an internal State Department notice that they reviewed. And that is going to take place over the course of today. Now, this is part of a major reduction in force and reorganization that the president and his administration ordered as a part of that Department of Government Efficiency effort to try to reduce the amount of federal workers. But this is really a huge amount of experience, a wealth of experience, my colleagues point out, that could be leaving. And they were told to essentially report to work today with all of their State Department, equipment and everything they use to work with, because they're essentially turning that all in. And then we're told that at 4 p.m. today, there will be what's called a clapping out of the current employees who are staying to essentially applaud those who are leaving and to protest some of these really significant department actions that, by the way, Alex, we could start to see more in earnest at other agencies, as that is something the administration is pursuing across the board.
Now, in all of my readings, the total amount is supposed to be 3,000 employees will be let go. That's a mass layoff. Here's a video clip of that clapping thing she was talking about. I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. But here's another clip. Okay, so in watching the second video, I think I have gathered my thoughts and feelings into as to why I'm not feeling that. I understand that they are sending off their employees with love and appreciation. I understand that. But they're not leaving because they are retiring. They aren't leaving because they have this grand opportunity elsewhere. They are leaving because this government is a fascist government, and members of Trump's regime have partnered with a Christian nationalist organization, and they are working together to overturn democracy in this country. They are isolating us from partners and allies across the world. They are destroying our institutions and our government. And that, what we are watching, is a representation of that. So yeah, I don't, the clapping makes it feel like it's more of a celebratory thing. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts about it. But here's some more information about what this department does and how it's going to affect our country negatively, these mass layoffs. Listen, I don't know what I'm going to do when they finally get rid of TikTok. I done found a filter on TikTok where I can load in my notes for my video so I won't be all over the place. Anywho, so the total amount of people, it's being reported that they are going to fire 3,000 people, employees from the State Department. Okay? Diplomatic positions, civil service positions, and that many job cuts puts America at risk. Now, in the reports that I read, the targeted positions are foreign service workers, cybersecurity experts, and refugee resettlement specialists. And within these different departments and agencies, that equates to about 246 diplomats that will be laid off, and then about 1,100 civil servants that will be laid off. And then there's a total 10% workforce reduction. That is how you get to your 3,000 number. The bureaus that are going to be affected is cyber threats, energy security, and human rights specialists. Those three areas are the areas that are going to be hit the hardest. How does this affect the United States? It affects the United States because it weakens our negotiating power across the board. We will have fewer experts to handle the different crises that are happening, like Ukraine and the Middle East. And of the 3,000 that are being cut, there is a total wipeout of resettlement offices, and those positions work with humanitarian aid across the world. It leaves us vulnerable when it comes to cybersecurity and digital threats. You know what we have to deal with when it comes to China and Russia. But you know, Donald Trump doesn't care about that because he benefits from that, right? But it affects the rest of us who want to live in a society that is not fascist. We want the freedom to be able to put politicians in office that work for the betterment of all people, not just one race, not just one religion, not just one gender, and not just one class, the millionaires and billionaires. We want politicians in office that will work against fascism and for diplomacy. We want the freedom to be able to live how we live. We want to be able to make a livable wage, and we want politicians in office that will make that happen. We want universal health care, and we want politicians in office that will make that happen. We don't want politicians that will work towards fascism and enriching themselves and those that they deem worthy. Right? We want the ability to pick and choose which politicians we want in office to do that. We don't want a regime. We want diplomacy in this country. And we're headed towards fascism in this country. Like I said, these cuts are proof that Project 2025 is still in action. Remember, I've told you in discussing Project 2025 that one of the major things they want to do is to reduce the size of government. They want to fire thousands of federal government employees, and they want like a skeleton crew of loyalists to help Donald Trump and his regime to run the government. People who are not going to push back. People who are not going to stand firm towards the Constitution and working for the people, but working towards the regime itself. So, another 3,000 federal employees gone. That deducts from their 50,000 goal that they had that's laid out in Project 2025. For all of you who said Project 2025 wasn't real and that we were fear-mongering. Yeah. 3,000 towards their 50,000 goal. Closing human rights bureaus undermines the U.S. leadership in democracy across the world, which moves us towards fascism. It alienates us. All of this that is going on with the State Department right now, it alienates us from our allies across the world. This America First agenda that they claim they have, no. There's a reason why they want us cut off from the rest of the world. And just think, by removing the United States from its standing that it's had for years, who's going to step in to fill that void? It's going to be China and Russia. And where does that leave the United States? Alone and vulnerable. Any crises that may come our way, that may happen around the world that affect us negatively, what are we going to do about it? Because we no longer have a standing on the world stage. And you can thank Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, and Russell Voigt and Project 2025 and all of you that were ignorant to what you were being told by the rest of us and the experts out there. On that note, I hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. I just wanted y'all to know that Project 2025 is still on the table. It's still in play, and this is what they're doing. I'll see y'all later.